Hello, it is I, Mykonos, and today we are here with something special. Yes, I am in a virtual reality space known as VRChat, and today I'm just kind of feeling myself. So, I decided today we will explore VRChat Liminal Spaces. Yes, there is a lot of room for creativity in VRChat as a whole, as we all know. And so many people have created many maps of many different flavors. And I had the idea and the inspiration for this video a long time ago, and I kind of maybe made one, but wasn't really proud of it, so I deleted it. But this time, no room for any of that. We're just gonna dive straight into it and, see how it goes. Maybe this will be a series, you may never know. But without further ado, let us get into the first VRChat Liminal World. Okay, so here we are. This world is called, if I can find it, Liminal Alcove. Yes. So, already, as presumed, a lot of spooky stuff already happening with the soundscape. I don't like it. Actually, big no for me when it comes to liminality. Believe it or not. Yeah, like, everyone attributes liminality to the overall creepiness of it. And, usually involves some weird next spot level, like creature running towards you. And if this has that, then this is the first strike for this video, because already I don't necessarily care for that aspect. I think the whole idea behind liminality and liminal spaces always derives itself from familiarity, as most people would know. And as you can see, this is very familiar. This would have been, overall kind of same concept from the original first Backrooms image. These beige, kind of dirty walls, fluorescent lighting, and of course, this is a lot more expansive. But in a way, it feels kind of big, megaplex, metropolitan style. There's certainly its fair share of dark lighting, and like, yeah, the sounds are fucking killing me because of the fact that, I just don't want there to be scares. It's not the fact that me myself is scared, even though technically speaking, I tend to be a little bit of a bitch when it comes to, spooky stuff, especially in VR. If I was doing this on desktop, it would be a different story. But I really just don't want there to be scares, because that's no fun. I would rather, it be something for all of us to enjoy, and I don't have to edit anything out when it comes to the scares, or maybe I'll just add a little funny hee-hoo-ha-ha when it comes down to it. But no, I think overall, this is all the world has to show for itself. Just, you get to explore these office-like areas. I would imagine, like, this is not all the world has to offer. It's very maze-like, and, if there's no other different planes of, like, reality that we can go to, then I think that's it. But yeah, no, like, I'm gonna be real honest. This is not doing it for me. Let's see. Probably head down there, and then if there's nothing else, then the beige walls will, be my only solace till we move on to the next world. But yeah, no, there's nothing else I can really give into, like actually explaining myself when it comes down to why I don't particularly vibe with this kind of space. But I feel like for some, everyone's ideas and concepts are always going to be different and diverging. Then that's fine. That's perfectly normal. Okay, yeah, no, I just got major. Uh, y'all saw that too, right? Yep, there he is. Oh God, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, we're gonna move to the next world because yeah, no, that's just God, I don't like that. I really don't. But alas, let us just cut into the just cut into the next world without the horror, because I don't want this to be a horror video. Um, not really looking for that at 3 p.m. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next space. Welcome to the next liminal space. Now, this is something that I know for a fact for anyone watching. If you've ever had this dream, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm gonna be real honest. I have had several dreams with like toilets, but more specifically bathrooms. And when it comes down to just what these dreams divulge themselves into, it's mostly a lot of, what's the word for it? It's filth. It's very dirty. And these bathrooms, these toilets, as it were, these are very clean, sterile. You can almost see like watermarks or just bumps in the metal than itself. It's a top toilet contraption. But yeah, no. It really, a lot of my dreams, I haven't had them as of late, but I do remember specifically a lot of these toilet dreams were just, it had me coming out of it disgusted. And I think overall I never really realized just how much like just people have had these dreams in unison. And I don't know if it's the same effect of one particular creepypasta. Like I'll put it on screen if I can find it, but yeah, it's just a hysteria effect of, once you see it and you get scared by it, you tend to have a nightmare about it. But they were usually very nightmarish, and I just did not like the feeling of it. I would always wake up in like a cold sweat when it came down to it. But this space in particular is bringing me back to that time, and it's a different altered scenario, and I'm pretty sure like one, no one wants to sit there and render what I want to describe, and honestly I would rather keep the details just that blunt when it comes to my explanation for it. but all you need to know is that very disgusting bathrooms, very disgusting, toilets, and that is that. I know some people have had dreams. It's either long corridors or large open expanses like this that are just filled to the brim with toilets, and that's about it. And I used to have these dreams before, it became somewhat of a popular, discussion point, and I want to really, look it up for myself, because I never really knew what caused them, and if it is what I described. Have you seen this man? That is what I was trying to talk about. Have you seen this man? If it's just that same effect, if, he appears in your dreams and, you're fucked or something. I don't even know. It's been so long since I read the creepypasta. Maybe that'll be the next one I read. But, yeah, no, this is just bringing back a lot of memories. And I just realized when you move, yeah, you can see the pillars through the ceiling. But regardless, shadows are one thing. But yeah, no, I really dig the vibe. It's very black and white. It feels very familiar, not like the first map we explored. I don't really particularly find myself all that interested when it comes to making it spooky jump scare territory, things chasing you down long corridors and you have to survive. I like this. This is perfect. And I think that overall really helps itself. Yeah, maybe the camera wasn't the best decision, but yeah, no, it makes me feel very what's the word for it? Nostalgic. Yes, nostalgic. And that's a weird feeling to have, but at the same time too, I used to have dreams like this as a little kid, and maybe it's just the fact that, I was maybe disgusted by public bathrooms at school, and I didn't really want to use them, and I held it in a lot of the time, and yeah, no, I don't think that was a very it's not okay. Very unhealthy. But over the years, I just haven't had it, and I think as an adult, I don't mind it as much. But yeah, no, toilets. Toilets are an interesting tale for me, and I think this world captures a lot of those feelings that I had, especially from those dreams, minus the filth. And I always bring up the filth, but the filth was there. The filth was there. But, no, I think overall, it brings me back to a time where I was a young, naive, dumb kid, and I was kind of off-put by the strangest things. But, I think we'll cut to the next world. Okay. And I think this is the last world, because this is the first world I've ever explored in depth, and this is a world by the name of the Liminal Safari. It is many different liminal spaces in a long, expansive journey that you take, and pretty much so, we're going to be exploring it together. And I think overall, yeah, no, this is a very good project, and I just want to give my thoughts on it, because I don't remember much of what we're actually going to be exploring, but I know in depth and deep down that there's a lot that is really good. Really good. Yeah, no, it's just a great time. So why not cut the chitter chatter and get straight into it? Yeah? All right. Now then, let us turn off the camera. And yeah, this was made by Coffee Pot. Make sure I need to check out some more of their worlds because this is really great, and there's a lot to explore. Yet again, we have very familiar territory. This almost feels like like my grandparents' house back when I used to live in a different state. um it felt very clinical, but also very lived in, and you can kind of smell it in a way. It gives me that old house smell, and I really do love the lighting in this world because it hits all the right tones, the shadows. There's so many interjecting hallways. That is just a dark room. That is a Gmod dark room. But at least like the camera view in OBS can show me that there's no spooky gabagoodies. But yeah, no. This is just great. I love it. This is an even darker room. But yeah, a lot to explore. And this is why, like, here. This is what I'm talking about. This is so open. And there's no possible way, unless it's like, it reminds me when I used to work at the casino. It was just a small custodian job. But it would be these like ballrooms or just dining halls. I don't remember what we actually called them, but it was a massive hall, and it had to be split off because of the fact that people would be using these rooms. They would use them for events like movies and so on and so forth, for weddings, occasions, you name it. But yeah, no, this is so big, and just I can hear the echo, even though there's no echo at all in this room. If there was a way to actually project your voice out into like worlds, then it would be pretty impressive. But I think that would have to be a setting you change in VRChat so you can actually project your voice in that light. Now we got some stairs, which I've only been in like, what is it? 2 houses with stairs, and that's not normal to a degree of which is that, I'm accustomed to 1-story houses. But yeah, no, like, this has so many steps. Is this like that SCP? I need to it'll be on screen because I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, no, this is already like so expansive and impressive, and we got a new change of scenery. Love the skybox. The skybox is impressive, but we're not gonna talk about that. This is the mall, and I love my little footsteps. But I've never been in an empty mall before. And in a way, I know there's no jump scares in this space, but it is really dark. I know the view in OBS is different because it's showing off the lighting a lot more clearer, but for me on my end, just exploring, no, it is so dark. But This is what I'm talking about when it comes to familiar territory and spaces. I know there should be people here, but we're at a time and an hour of which is that there's really nobody here. And there shouldn't be anyone here. But I'm the one lone, like, explorer just walking in territory I shouldn't be in. It's like, I'm already reassuringly, suspicious of my surroundings and very cautious. And I already know, like, one, I should not be in here. That is already a given. And we got another area over there to explore. We were just there. So I don't know if there's really anything else. But yeah, no. I feel like I should be here like during the day because there's a lot of people here. Can't explore a lot of what this place has to offer because I know it's very work in progress, but I don't know if they'll actually finish it. But no, this is so impressive. But yeah, no. I like this feels like, exploring school at night, And I never been to night school myself. But oh man. It doesn't feel normal. And it isn't normal, but it just feels strange. That's what it feels like. It feels very strange. And that alone, like, kind of creeps me out in a way. It's like, I know there should be something here, but there isn't. There's no security guards. There's nobody, no custodians, none of that. It's just completely empty. And it feels like I'm trespassing in a way. Trespassing in a virtual space. Yeah, but now we have the parking garage, and already, like, I feel like at least there's supposed to be like one car, but no one's here. It's completely desolate. And I think that overall gives into that narrative that is just, where the hell is everybody? And I just don't know where the entire population went. It's like I'm the last person on Earth, But, yeah, no, it's pretty crazy to think at that time. Like, so many films have already shown in immense detail, or a massive detail of, how a scenario like that would play out. But if you were to actually explore that and be like the last survivor type of deal, how would you actually go about accomplishing that? Because one, you wouldn't have an infinite power source. You wouldn't be able to do the things that you thought you would be able to do. It really flips it over your head with just how much people put into like infrastructure as a whole. And I would think, so most people would say, oh, if I was the last person on Earth, I could get a stable, fully functional internet connection, And that alone is like, see, that's a cool idea, but how would that work? You need people that are skilled in the expertise, and I feel like for the majority of us, we don't know how to set that up. And, we could learn, but even then, it would take so much time, and even then, the resources, I'm pretty sure, would only be finite as a whole. And there comes to the reality of just how would natural disasters play out, you name it. But yeah, no, this is such an amazing, expansive world that I am decently surprised at just how much we are able to explore and how much I've been yapping. I am a yapper at heart, but worlds like these get me to talk. And, you know, it brings me back to a time where I can just be free with my thoughts and be free with myself as a whole, because all I had to talk to was myself. And, you know, that may be a little sad, but, you know, like, it doesn't really matter all that much, you know? Like, you should be able to talk positively about yourself, but more particular, if you have no one else to talk to, you should be free to just express those feelings in open air like no one's around. And if you're talking to yourself, then that's perfectly finite too. And, well, not finite, that's not the word I would use for it. It's perfectly normal and should be normalized because you give yourself motivation. And if for some reason, like, you were to able, if you were able to talk to a clone of yourself, then you would want to pipe it up. You would want to talk to that person because that is just you in unison, you know? Like, you have so much room, creativity to ask yourself if you were going to talk to yourself, hey, like, how's it been? Like, are you feeling okay? Like, is there anything that we could improve upon? You name it, but yeah, no, it's pretty crazy to think just how much, you know, like, that stuff isn't talked about. So, and here we have the park, and I used to explore the park at night a lot, and, you know, this is very familiar territory to me because I would just want to be by my lonesome and have only my thoughts to take me to whatever I was thinking at the time. But no, like, play on the jungle gym, swing on the swings, and or ride the carousel, or not carousel, I don't know, merry-go-round, some like that. But whatever it's called, this is like home to me. And it's nice, especially when you have someone else to just share thoughts with when you need a deep conversation at that right moment in time. And, you know, I think that overall, like, it kind of makes me feel sad almost that I may not be able to share those thoughts as I imagined, but at the same time, too, there's always room for me. I'm not that old. No, not by a long shot. But it's just how much time has passed and how progressively it continues to just, you know, get even more and more, you know. What's the word for it? Just time consuming, as it were. And, you know, never really realized just how much you could, you know, be doing. That it all feels like, you know, maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe it feels like it's all passing too soon. and you just never know. But I think we should just take solace in the fact that we're all still alive, and more particular, the connections we built, the bonds that we have are already so pure enough that searching for more feels like more time is going to be, spent lost in that space. But of course, thoughts and feelings change a lot of the time. And I know how I feel about this today as I sit kind of alone in this space, this park. There's a doghouse here, which is pretty interesting. Um, but by my lonesome, as it kind of provides me that sad feeling that maybe it will change once I get into a different environment. But no, I just think overall, um, I don't really know how to feel when it comes down to just, I love those connections. And I wish I can have even more of them. And I want more. But for now, though, things have happened, things change, and only time will tell just if things can progress in a light that is more fulfilling. But this is how this space makes me feel. I can be a lot more open with my own feelings and, feel like even though you're watching me, like I'm just talking to myself. Like kid me is sitting right next to me and I'm just able to speak to them and see how they feel about it. But yeah, um, we'll get to the next area right now because I know there's like one more area that we haven't actually checked out. But after that, then yeah, that's the end of this video. I know it's going to be a very long one, but um, yeah, no, this has been very fun. But without further ado, let us get to the next one. And here we are. The final area of this world. Now, this is very interesting to me because I used to go swimming a lot and, I never really I wasn't a big fan. I wouldn't say I was a big fan of it, but you know, I didn't mind it. I like getting out in the sun and just exploring and swimming. Whatever large expanse of water. The pools. You name it. Like it was a very fun time for me, and I used to laugh. I used to just splash in the water, and my fingers would get all pruny. And overall, it was a very fun time to just cool down and relax as a whole. And, I never really, got the whole fascination of, when it comes down to just, oh, let's see how much you can hold your breath underwater for without dying. But, I think that overall, it feels like I am, especially with the gray clouds, like it looks gray on OBS, but over here with my VR headset, or just through the camera view, I should have said, through my VR lens, it looks very cloudy, very grayish blue. But yeah, no, I just think overall it feels like I'm at solace almost. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that you can hear the water kind of basking, cascading through and you know, it almost feels like you want to dive in, but I it's such an interesting feeling, you know. And I don't know, like I want to take a dive. Would you like to take a dive? Because I don't know, I'm feeling like I can swim, and I know I can swim. Okay, I'm not gonna drown, but I don't know. Like, I think there was a underwater expanse down there, but if not, then we'll just explore what the rest of this world has to offer, and you get to see all of this. Oh, jeez. But anyway, let's get to it. All right. So we're here on the diving board, and let's just dive in. Oh, yeah, that is right. Ah, sorry. If me adjusting my headset is a little too much, then I am very sorry. I will cut that out. But yeah, look at this. It's pretty crazy. It's so deep down here, and you know, I will put a warning, like the thalassophobia warning or something like this. I'll put all the content warnings here if need be. But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy to think that they built this pool so deep. But yet again, who knows who built it in the first place. But yeah, there's more to explore. It looks like it's lived in almost, because there's coolers, but where did they come from, you know? And then here, like, yeah, you you can walk here, but then what's so strange is that you got these steps here. So really, there's no water. Why is there no water? But then you got this area. What is this? Okay, I don't remember this. So, it's making me feel comforted in a way. I like the blues bouncing off from the water and the lights giving it that feeling, but I'm wondering what's down here, because we got something down here to explore, and here it feels like we're in a underwater science facility. All I need is my science team. Yeah, no, like, this is impressive, and we can keep going. And yeah, no, I think that's all there really is to explore down here. But yeah, you know, I think overall, and I've had a little bit more time to, you know, ponder and wonder about what my feelings are in a space like this, and I will explain it after we get out of the underwater section, because I can't properly move, at least my model wise in the water. So Yeah, my yiddies are bouncing all over the place. So hold on. We'll get back up and then I'll explain it once we get up top. Okay. There we go. I think my feelings of this place are very interesting. I feel very comforted, but almost feel alien in it because of the fact that I just don't know. It feels like I wasn't invited to this space. And, you know, I kind of wonder and ponder just how I even got here in the first place. And I think that overall, you know, when I start to really think about it, it just feels a little, you know, forced onto me to push in this direction that I need to be here when in all actuality I'm not supposed to be there in the first place. And, you know, I think, yeah, no, I just don't feel invited. And I feel almost not at home when it comes to exploring a space like this. And in a way, I shouldn't be here. So, I don't know. Like, I feel at home, I feel comforted, but I don't know. Like, there's two different colliding emotions that I just don't know what actually I'm supposed to feel. And that alone is already such in a powerful way a strong emotion. And I just don't know what is causing it. It's like the water is almost trying to drag me down under and, you know, drown me, but in a way it doesn't want to let me, you know, die because of the fact that there's something overweighing my emotional state at that time. So, I don't know. It's a very strange, encompassing thing. But that is the last space for this area and the final area for this video. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video. I don't like that I do the sad face when I point with this hand. Hold on. Let me do that. I will see you in the next video. And I hope to make this a series because I really did enjoy just exploring these spaces with you guys and getting to ramble. That's what I like to do. I like to yap. And yapping is my favorite thing to do.